You ready to go? You ready to go? You ready to go? Should we go? Should we go? There we go. I'm actually stretching my back right now. That's what I'm doing. Oh, yeah. Okay, welcome back. I appreciate that you're here. We're on episode 5. We're going to get these end tables done at some point in our future. Right now, I'm just going to deal with the cracks that we have here. That I'm going to put some epoxy in. Now, it's kind of dawned on me that woodworking, it should be, I got some wood, I cut some wood, and then I glue the wood together, and now I have better wood. But the reality is, it doesn't always go that way. And sometimes things happen to the wood, and you gotta trudge through that. Sometimes you get better tools help you. Speaking of better tools, I'm putting a little gutter diverter to help prop this up. But sometimes you get better tools, maybe you get help from some friends to help you get through the process. But at the end of the day, it's an adventure, and it's kind of fun to problem solve. That's kind of half of what I like it. But right now, it seems like, why the frick do I have to deal with this crack? Anyways, I should have saw this. But live and learn. That's part of the thing. And when you're done, actually, there's nothing better when you come home and you have something that you totally made from scratch that's beautiful. So here we are. I'm going to put some hot glue. I'm damming this up. And as you can kind of see, I was trying to keep it level. Here's the epoxy that I got from Woodcraft, which is like, Woodcraft's like Disneyland for woodworkers, if you've ever been in there. It's like they got woods from far off lands and tools that you could never afford, you know. Anyways, here's the epoxy. Some of this I didn't film, but basically I got some plastic cups. Don't use paper. I tried that once, and that doesn't work. But there's 2 parts. I like to measure it by volume, so I think in this case it's like 1 part A to 2.5 of B. I put the cup on the scale and then zero it out. And a little tip is use grams. It's a lot easier than ounces to figure that out, so that's what I do anyways. So I think in this case I put 20 grams of part A in, and that left me like 50 grams, so 70 total. But not to go into the future, but anyways, you'll see. So I think I forgot to film this, and so now I'm just awkwardly staring at this scale for a while, as are you. We're just staring at it. Eventually some epoxy will end up in that cup. At least that's what I remember. This stuff was pretty expensive. It was like 60, 70 bucks or something. Oh, look, there it is. And in this case, on the walnut, I did this on my coffee table as I used some epoxy on some of my mess ups, and it actually looks really cool, to be honest with you. So I'm going to do that here. Put some black, I don't know what you call that stuff, dye, epoxy dye. It's got a little sparkle in it. One thing I know, you really want to mix it more than you think you should. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. And then my wife came home. It's like she magically appeared. Did you see that? She's like, poof. Anyways. This is the world famous epoxy. So I think it's been stirring long enough. Stir. Two, I've stirred. So yeah, I stirred it up. And then always clean your work area, as it says in the manuals. Clean your work area and your surfaces before applying. So I created a little dam. This should be kind of level. And I delicately put that in there. I don't have a torch, so it's such a small area. And then in my infinite wisdom, I had some chatter, I think from planing on the surface there, so I decided to put some on there. And then I thought, I'll shake it up. See in the Sawzall in the background? Thinking of cement, how they vibrate it, but that was a bad idea. Look at that mark. Like I said, it's an adventure. And so, anyways, it was on the bottom, so there you have it. Now I'm going to take a little break here and go see my friend. He's going to help me on my adventure. And the foreman, Misha, she's going to go with me. And I found a cool song on our travels, so I did a little montage for our trip. Made it nice and vivid, so enjoy the journey.
We're going to go in the car.
We'll go see Cam.
Car seat. Made it, what's it called, Cam? Intermountain Products. This is Cam. Hey, Cam.
Hey.
Cam, the lumberman, and this is the foreman's here.
Come on.
Trying to take Cam for a walk. So we're gonna go in and see what he's got. I'm just getting some MDF board.
Okay, so I'm back. Here's the 1/4-inch stuff. And Cam is the man. He's got a plan. And he helped me out a lot. So extra than what I got. And then Misha had to sign some autographs with the office, the entire office. So she's kind of famous. It seems like wherever I take her, she gets recognized in public. So I don't get recognized. They're not like, oh, I know you. You're from that YouTube channel. It's more like, hey, Misha, I know you. Anyways, Cam, any place you can buy lumber and have them bring it out to you. And like I said, I got the walnut from here, and it's wonderful, beautiful stuff. So if you're ever in Omaha, check it out.
Just chatting with Cam, the lumberman, for a while, and the boys around the shop. Thanks a lot, Cam. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I fucked up. Okay, I screwed up. Basically, the epoxy that I put in is no bueno. So I'll show you what's going on here. It didn't cure. I don't know if I didn't mix it well enough or it was too cold in the garage. But I'm going to have to do some dental emergency surgery on my tabletops. So here we go.
Okay, so I got my dental equipment here. And special thanks to Bob, another friend who's helped me out and really makes me appreciate the friendships I have. Bob's a curmudgeon. Look it up if you don't know what curmudgeon is. But he's the kind of guy that you show up at his house and he's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And then you ask him to borrow a shirt off his back, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And so I asked him if he wanted to be in the video, and he said, "Hell no," like a curmudgeon would. That's what a curmudgeon would say. Now, I almost took my finger out with this thing. And so I moved to the chisel, the foundation of Egypt. I don't know that. I just said that. But I moved to the chisel to chisel this down, and this stuff is like dried molasses. That's kind of what it is. However, I did let it sit for about a week before I got to this, and the cup in which the epoxy was actually dried pretty hard, so I think there might just be some residuals that didn't dry the best. So I'm going to try to get the gunky stuff out the best I can, and you can see it's not the greatest. I suppose in hindsight I could have heated this up, but again, I don't have a torch or anything, and that would seem silly to put a torch to wood. That's just my opinion. You can put comments on that if you think that wood won't burn, but I probably will say thanks for the comment. So I'm trying different things here. Eventually I got most of the hot glue off of there and just moved. I did have the curmudgeon let me borrow, I can't think of the word now, a Dremel tool, yeah. But after getting this off and sanding it down a little bit, I realized I didn't really need to go that far, as far as the patient didn't need a crown after all. So I just need to fill the cavity. So I don't know why I filmed this, but basically I'm just getting a sandy block to get in the tighter corners there. Gotta move that down. But this is the part of the trials of woodworking. Why can't I just cut the wood and make the wood better? Why isn't it simple? Woodworking should be simple. Why isn't it simple? As you can see there on the video, that it's just kind of gunking up my sandpaper. But it's getting there. So this is the crisis, but at some point I will have a treasure. Now here's where the dental equipment comes in handy here. Scraping this out. Nurse, I need air. Scalpel. Abrasives. Look at that. And then what seemed like a great idea to throw some on the top now is a huge problem because it's just, like I said, gunky. So I get the foundational tools of Egypt again, and I slowly kind of push through, kind of doing it diagonally, trying to be careful. I'm being real gentle with this because going cross grain is not the wisest thing to do. But pushing it through, look at that. So there's the foreman. She's concerned about the project and overlooking what's happening. And I don't blame her, to be honest with you. I was like, I need supervision right now. And so she's on it. And it's getting less and less. And then I tried to sand it, and that gummed up pretty good. So now I'm throwing chemicals into the fire. And this is like a mineral spirit. I don't even know what you call it. It's like a mineral spirit substitute, or eco-friendly mineral spirits or something like that. So honestly, that's working pretty good because it's causing it to coagulate, sort of, so that it's kind of sucking it out of the wood. And I'm like, thank God this is working, because this seemed insurmountable, really. I was unsure. But again, this is kind of the adventure. You run into problems and problem solve. And at this point, I feel like we overcame our crisis and it's looking beautiful. We got the results we're looking for and getting ready to do some heavy sanding here. So I'm going to get my little sanding blankie out. And so I think we've entered the age of enlightenment. So basically what I'm doing here is setting up just to do a full assault on the end tables. I did let the one table, after getting that mineral spirits on there, sit for, I don't know, a couple days. And brought it inside to let it kind of soak out, which it seemed to do the job. So for now, I'm trying to get all the saw marks off the bevels on the bottom. I'm doing the old trick where you put some pencil lines on there and then make sure you sand them off. So I'm going 80 grit all over both tables. I usually don't sand the sides like that. Because it's pretty aggressive. You gotta be real careful not to bow the edges when you're sanding, especially with an orbital sander. There's my little handmade sanding block. There's the little pencil trick. So if you don't know, just put some pencil lines, and if you can get them to all disappear, then you're a good sander. You're a good sander. So being careful here. Hand sanding, orbital sanding, air sanding. That's not a thing. That really didn't happen. So it's looking pretty good. So you can see there's still a crack, and I'm gonna do a little more dental work on it and try to get it off or out of there, basically until I get to the hard stuff. So, and I think it is hard. So some of it did harden up, and the only thing I can think is that I just did not stir the epoxy enough. And again, I've moved on. I got better tools now. I'm not using the gutter diverter. So I'm going to put some CA glue in there. Now, if you watched my earlier videos, I'm not a fan of this, but it's what I got. So I'm going to try to use that. This stuff, it's kind of the point. I can't put my little surgical tip on there, so I'm going to try to put it in as best I can. Now look at that surgical precision. Basically, I'm trying to push it down into the crack to get it settled in the best I can. And it's looking pretty good. Now we had a huge snowstorm that the country had. A lot of the country got but it was negative 35 degrees one night. And I thought, what the heck are we doing living here? This isn't right. We could die. And then I just turn on some Netflix. So we're doing the CA glue, sanding, CA glue, sanding. Now this is how you get the treasure, is hard work. I put some accelerator on there. Then I found this guy and I'm like, oh boy, I got to deal with this too. So I did a couple passes on this. And honestly, a lot of this is on the bottom, so thank God for that. And so it's going to look pretty good. And I'm not too worried. I'm actually at this point not discouraged, but I'm pretty happy with the results. So at this point, so I'm kind of feeling inspired. I got the MDF already that you saw. So I'm teed up for the next stage of this process of designing the legs, and by golly, we may have a structure at some point. I feel like I'm just realizing that right at this second. So at this point, I'm going as fast as I can because this is a lot of work. So as you can see in this, I'm just did all the sides, and I'm trying to get it basically to where all the solid marks are at. Things are pretty smooth. And then I make a habit of doing one pass with 80 grit and then putting some water on there to raise the grain. And then I'll do another pass with 80 grit. So now let me know if you think my videos are getting better, because I'm just learning how to do this video stuff and voiceovers and all that stuff. But I hope the quality is getting better, just the pictures and the angles and all that. So let me know in the comments. I would really want to know. And like I've said before, be constructive. And there's the next episode right there, the monolith. So thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one.